Hi everyone and welcome to Linger Longer with Books. My name's Catherine and in this week's video I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and feelings about my road trip to 66 books this weekend. Let's go take a look at the books that I bought. What I should have said is, if you don't know about 66 books, it's basically a book warehouse in Hemel Hempstead, which is north of London, for those of you not familiar with the area. It is open to members of the public on set weekends through the year, otherwise during the week and other weekends. It operates as a wholesale distribution warehouse for industry, and it's closed on the weekends. It's not open to the public. So I decided to sort of bite the bullet, and this was the weekend where I was going to go. So hopefully I'll insert some clips of me travelling. I set off from home on the south coast in Southampton just before 8 a.m. on Saturday. The rain and the traffic, neither were very kind to me. It took me about 2 hours to drive the 100 miles or so to 66 books. When I got there, it was raining really heavily. I had a brolly but no raincoat, and I was kind of dressed for summer, thinking it would be summer weather in July, but I was kind of proven wrong. When I got there, the queue was already quite substantial outside, but knew that I was obviously going to join it and kind of wait patiently with all the other kind of book fans. It turned out to be about a 2.5 hour queue from the point where I joined it. But there was no way I wasn't going to queue up or sort of go home after that drive. So I will show you the 14 books that I bought. Here's just a few of them, but let's get into it. Okay, in no particular order. Once you're inside, you're given a kind of a blue basket that you can obviously fill as full as you would like. When you go upstairs, there is a sort of a children's book section first off. So there was a whole it's literally aisles and aisles, apparently 5 miles of bookshelves. And it is in sort of loose sort of non-fiction and fiction areas, but in no particular order, not alphabetical. And you really do have to sort of train your eye to look from floor to ceiling. A lady in the queue behind me, she'd been before, and she said it is almost overwhelming, but obviously committed bookworms amongst us, that wouldn't faze us. So the first book that I picked up in the children's section was a very cute little edition, The Tale of Kitty and Boots, written by Beatrix Potter. I haven't seen these editions since I was a lot younger, so that was very cute. What I should have said is every book in 66 books on these weekends is 70% off RRP. So you can imagine the discounts, and that hence the kind of the popularity and the queues that it attracts. So I'm not quite sure what price this one was. I will share with you the prices as I go through the stack. This is a US edition, and it was $7.99, but obviously convert that to pounds and then take 70% off. So a couple of pounds by my really rough maths. Next up is an Enid Blyton, Christmas Stories. This is going to be a gift for my 4-year-old niece, Imogen. A lovely edition. They had a whole, I'll try and insert a photo or a clip. They had an amazing array of Enid Blyton titles. This originally was $7.99, so again, just a steal for a couple of pounds. This one caught my eye just because I thought it looked really lovely and autumnal and had that sort of witchy magic vibe. This is the Wild Magic Trilogy, The Promised Witch by Celine Kiernan. What I didn't realise, bit of an error, is that this is book 3 of 3. Didn't spot that till I got it home, but not to worry. I think this would be lovely for book displays and flat lays. And we shall see if I can get hold of the other 2 in the trilogy. But that looks like a really, really lovely, cute kind of autumnal read. So there you go, there's that one. That was $6.99 originally. Next up was The Ripper of Whitechapel by Yvette Fielding. Yvette Fielding, I was familiar when I was a young girl. She used to present Blue Peter. And I had heard of this Ghost Hunter Chronicles series through Simon Savage of Savage Reads. Sorry about the glare on that. But yeah, I was just intrigued to kind of dive into her sort of Whitechapel world and see what it's all about, really. This was £8.99 originally. It looks like also available by Yvette is The House in the Woods and the Witches of Pendle. So yeah, I look forward to reading that. Probably an autumn or a winter time read for me, if I'm honest. Then I think I'm sort of sharing these all out of order, but it doesn't matter. I got Demi Moore's Inside Out. I think I've got this on Kindle, but I kind of wanted it as a paperback copy. I haven't seen this in charity shops, I don't think at all. So I did grab a copy. This was £8.99 originally. It is her life through her own words and her eyes from her perspective. So it'd be interesting to kind of see, it's hailed as a story of survival, success and surrender, a wrenchingly honest portrayal of one woman's at once ordinary and iconic life. So it's been on my TBR for a while, so yeah, I picked that one up. There you go. Next, I picked up one of the books my sister Rachel was looking for. It's David Baldacci and it's Long Shadows. They had a good selection of his. Again, very randomly kind of spotted, but I'm pleased that I did. This was originally £9.99. It is an Amos Decker thriller. I haven't read David Baldacci, but I presume this is in a series, and he's obviously a world-class author and incredibly well-loved around the world. So there you go, there's that one. That was, yeah, probably about £3 if my maths is right on that one. Next up, I'm not going to share, of the 14 books I got, I'm not going to share just a handful, because they are going to be gifts for friends and family. But my sister knows that this one is heading her way, so she won't mind me sharing it. This is A Million Sloths, super cute creatures to colour. And I just thought that was a lovely little gift for her to have and colour in for some mindfulness and some relaxation when she can get the time. That originally was £7.99. So I spotted that in the children's section and I got that. So I'm really pleased with that one. Probably my two most favourite buys. Again, didn't have either of these planned in my head before I went. 66 books. Doesn't have the very latest titles, but it has very, very recent titles, I would say, both in hardback and paperback format, fiction and non-fiction. So you do just have to be committed to sort of really looking closely at the shelves. But this one had been on my radar, and that is Scoops by Sam McAllister, and that is following the Prince Andrew panorama interview with Emily Maitlis and the subsequent Netflix adaptation and interpretation of that. Sam McAllister was the journalist who was portrayed in that, and this is her account of behind the scenes of the BBC's most shocking interviews. Prince Andrew's does feature, but then there are other chapters with other sort of well-known figures and public figures: Julian Assange, Amy Schumer, Steven Seagal, and the Trump years. So I think that would be really, really kind of eye-opening to hear from Sam's perspective, just her career, her journalistic career, and just being the other side of asking these well-known figures for the truth about their lives. So that Scoops, that originally was £16.99, but if you take 70% off, what's that? I don't know what that means, but much better than full price, let's just say that for now. This book kind of made the trip worth it through all the traffic and the horrible rain on the M25. This is Tutankhamun by Professor Joyce Tildesley. It's got Pharaoh, Icon, Enigma, and just look at that cover. How gorgeous is the gold that's shimmering on there. Tutankhamun is obviously an ancient Egyptian ruler. I've long been interested in the pharaohs and Tutankhamun in particular. I've been lucky enough to go to Egypt and explore all the history associated with Tutankhamun's reign and his life, how his tomb was discovered in the Valley of the Kings, and everything to do with that. So this is lost for 3,000 years, misunderstood for a century. And this just looks fascinating. This was originally £22, but with 70% off, what would be about £7 or £8, I would think, hardback. All of the books at 66 Books are brand new. None of them are sort of secondhand. So yeah, you do get a real steal at the prices. Then as I was sort of heading out, the last few aisles downstairs, which kind of contained a lot of non-fiction, cookery titles, art, etc. There was this trilogy set, a little box set that was on a shelf, and it just sort of stuck out at me. I walked away from it, and then I sort of went back to it because I've seen them around in some secondhand shops, but not around too much. So I thought, I'm going to regret it if I don't pick this one up. And this is Disney Twisted Tales. I mean, again, look at the gorgeous silver shimmer this time on this book set. But we've got So This Is Love, we've got Straight On Till Morning, and Let It Go. And the premise of these Twisted Tales is they are retellings of famous Disney tales, but obviously alternative plots to do with them. And obviously the little symbols at the top denote which original Disney tale they follow. So the snowflake is Frozen, the hook is Peter Pan, and the dreadful Captain Hook, and then the glass slipper is Cinderella. So yeah, I was just really intrigued by this box set. This was £23.97 originally. So again, that would be what, about £8 or so, at 30% of the price. Let me know in the comments below if you have if you've read any of these, if you know of these tales. I'd be really interested to know kind of what you think. If you have watched this far, thank you very much. I really hope that you've enjoyed seeing what bargains I bought at 66 Books. If you've got this far, let me know that you're there by leaving a little green fairy emoji. I think it exists, unless I'm making it up in my head. But yeah, if there's any books that particularly stand out to you here, let me know. Or if you've read any and you really recommend which ones I head to first. But yeah, the entire pile cost me £41 total, which I think is fantastic. I can't even pick them all up to get into shot. Here are two that I'm not showing you just because they're gifts for people. So yeah, I didn't feel as guilty knowing that I was buying gifts for other people within the stash. I do have plans to return to 66 Books next month on one of the August opening weekends. Just because there was a lady, a few people in front of me at the till, and I saw that she had a Riley Sager, which I hadn't spotted at all. So I'm really keen to get my hands on that copy if it's there when I go back, as well as my sister Rachel. She would like me to pick up a copy of Tutankhamun as well, because it beats all of the online prices for the price that I got it at. So yeah, absolutely. Really chuffed that I went in the end. It was an effort with the weather and the early start and the queue in the rain. Who thought it would be like that in July? Probably just really bad luck that I picked that day. But even if I'd gone this morning, which is Sunday when I record this, the weather was foul anyway. So whichever of the 2 days, it would have been the same. But yeah, you can see it's a real mix of titles that I got there. If you know my videos by now, I have a really eclectic reading taste. So yeah, no surprise at the books that I came home with. Like I said, none that I had a real burning desire to get, but definitely a fair handful there that I was really pleased to get copies of, that have been on my TBRs or my radar for a little while. So yeah, there you have it. Those are the books that I got from 66 Books. If you haven't been, I recommend a visit. Just don't go on the weekends that I would like to go, because you'll kind of be competing against me in the queue in the nicest possible way. But yeah, like I said, I'll try and add some clips in just of my time there, just to give you a sense of the scale and the size of the warehouse. But yeah, until next time, I hope you have a fantastic week of reading ahead and lots of lovely things planned. I hope you have some time to read. But until my next video, I hope that you're all keeping very, very well, and I shall speak to you then. Thanks, bye.